Yes, people, what is going on? Hope you're all good. I have not seen this channel in a very, very long time, so I hope we're all good. I haven't seen you since the draft. And I mean, for me, it's worth the wait. I mean, we started off the first game of the regular season. I was going to do some preseason stuff, but it was very obvious very quickly that the Dolphins were going to try some stuff and we're going to try some rookies and see what we've got and just kind of see what we just had. And it was kind of be an unfair representation of what was going to come for the rest of the season. And obviously the games are on late o'clock, of course, because if you can't tell, I am a Londoner. So yeah, very late. It's currently well past midnight for me here. But regardless, we'll forget all that. The Miami Dolphins have just gone to Gillette Stadium. They've gone to Foxborough. They've gone to New England. And we've come away with a dub in the first game of the season. Now, last season we played in Foxborough first game and we lost. I can't actually remember the score off the top of my head, but I remember we got destroyed by Cam Newton. And what was a little bit annoying about that game was that we failed to stop the run, which is pretty much what happened this time round as well. In terms of time of possession, I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm pretty sure I heard some right at the end of the game saying they had about 15 minutes more than we did. Now, of course, it doesn't make a difference because we've won the game, they haven't, whatever. But it was just the ease that they kept the ball. They kept moving it so frequently, and it was all by the run game. It was all by the run game. And, you know, that's part and parcel of it, but it happened on so many occasions and we failed to deal with it on so many occasions. When we did deal with it, and our defence, I don't want to criticise it too much, of course, because it did come up with the goods and the forced fumble at the end, which was scooped up, I think, by Xavier Howard, although I don't know who actually fumbled the ball, regardless. Picked up by Xavier Howard. It's great. That's what wins us the game. I'm not going to lie, of course it is. However, we did allow them to be in the game maybe a little bit longer than they should have been because we couldn't stop the run. And although in our, actually in hindsight, it worked in our favour that they get the ball and couldn't do anything with it, eventually some team is going to break through. And as much as this is week one and we're going, oh, we're going to get better, so are other teams. And that was the only thing that I kind of wanted to nitpick at was that our run defense was again poor, and as it was last season. And I think although we've added a couple of decent weapons on offense, a fair few decent weapons on offense, we looked decent in that regard, and Tua looked like he was doing some good stuff. That's fine. We've added a couple of decent acquisitions on defense as well, but we do still very much struggle to stop the run. Let's kind of move away from the defense now because there is not a lot more we can say. In terms of the defense, very quickly, what I will say is we didn't have a lot of film on what the Pats were going to run with the two tight end situation. We dealt with it eventually, but we didn't really deal with it grand scheme. And had they either one of those two scored, I just feel like it would have been a massive problem for us moving forward, and many people would probably know that that's the way to go and beat us and cause problems. Either way, they had a lot of success. It might go a little bit under the radar, but the Dolphins just need to make sure that we deal with that and the run defense as well, because let's be honest, Xavier Howard wasn't targeted once during the game, I don't think. There was a couple of missed tackles that happened very frequently in the centre of the pitch, but again, that comes to the run defense and just stopping, massive gains where you don't need to. Brian Flores talked a hell of a lot about fundamentals. Making sure you get tackles right is fundamentals. And that's something that we did okay in certain areas, but definitely in terms of stopping the run was massively underachieved. Let's talk about the positives. Let's talk about the offense. Let's talk about Tua Tagovailoa. Again, I don't know stats off the top of my head, but he rushed in for the first touchdown. Great to see him on the board. And then also, of course, completes a lovely pass to Jalen Waddle. Lovely pass. Jalen Waddle does an incredibly good job to get down into the corner of the end zone and meet the pylon. This is a guy that's going to be a very big player for the Dolphins moving forward, and it's one that I'm really excited about. You look at Devontae Parker and what he was doing today, kind of back to his old self. They had a lot of success on short little completions with a kind of diagonal crossing routes and things that he can actually open his legs up and move, as well as also, I think he's 6'3" or 4". He's going up high, he's catching balls out of the air. But we did miss someone like Mike Gesicki, who I don't think got targeted once during the day in the game, other than the one that, of course, was brought back, which was a 2-yard completion. I left him on the bench. He didn't score me a single fantasy point. I'm very lucky in that regard. But someone, again, last year, massive problem for people to deal with Mike Gesicki. wasn't at the races today. You look at Albert Wilson, who could have potentially had a touchdown. Fantastic play, to be fair. I can't remember the guy's name now. Either way, fantastic play to stop the touchdown. Someone like that can make a difference. You look at someone like Jalen Waddle, who is being targeted, not frequently, but regularly enough to, of course, cause problems. Devontae Parker as well. You think about potentially adding Preston Williams back into that. There's a couple of decent players, and I know, of course, last year, as much as I do love him as an individual, Jakeem Grant is not necessarily a pass catcher. We were doing a lot of short stuff, so whether it was Salvon Ahmed or to Miles Gaskin, who I thought actually played really well today. But someone like Jakeem Grant did not get a look in. So you've just literally paid a return man, and which, that's fine. It is what it is. But if that's all he's going to do, then that's what we need to focus on. And it does seem that's going to be the way for now anyway. Tua, of course, runs in for the first touchdown. I want to say, I don't want to say it was all sunshine and rainbows for Tua. He was good. He was better. The only kind of slight, not problem I would have, is that when he did release the ball, he did, of course, get picked off. A little bit of luck off the shoulder pads and whatever for New England. But regardless, he threw the ball into a dangerous position. I think he wanted to try and get it just away. And I think there was one or two occasions where he just tried to extend the play, maybe a little bit too much. And I think that, this is the thing. Tua's the same age as me. He's literally a day younger than me. But he is going to be a great player moving forward. And I think there's a lot of media pressure on him to try and be a bit more positive and try and be a bit more all these things that he doesn't actually need to be. The best stuff he did today was the short completions, getting the ball out of his hands nice and quickly, and causing problems. That's how people, people, it might be very obvious to play against and people might know it's coming, but if he does it right, and again, the weapons surrounding him do their job and create separation, then we're going to be a good football team. That's the bottom line. That is simple as it is. So I'm not going to come away and go, oh my God, I'm gutted. And, although we've won, we've just gone to New England on the opening day of the season, somewhere we lost last year. We had Ryan Fitzpatrick. We've now had this quarterback that's now played 10 proper games for us, 6-3 when he started last season. And now obviously coming in today. So he's now 7-3. It's not exactly bad going for 10 NFL starts, and one of them being at Foxborough. Two of them being at Foxborough. Yeah, two of them. That's not bad going. No, one of them. No. Yeah, one of them. Because I'm getting confused. But, excuse me. The way that the Bills played, obviously we play them next week. The way that they played, I watched that game. I wasn't fussed. I thought that they were a decent side. We all know that they're a decent side. But the Pittsburgh Steelers defense really dealt with them. And I think if we get the passing game right going forward, we might be able to have a little bit of luck. Of course, we've still got to go up against their very good defense. And that's going to cause problems. However, I do think there is an opportunity that we could go after 2 games and be 2-0. We're currently 1-0, which is fantastic. Undefeated season is still on, everyone. But it's not, of course, going to happen. You need to be able to move forward. And this is a big scalp to take. This is an absolutely massive scalp to take. Going to New England, picking up a dub. And, of course, you've now got a massive game against Buffalo next week. We need to continue to build momentum. We are missing 1 or 2 people. But this was the first time we pretty much had a full wide receiving core. Obviously, we missed Preston Williams and Will Fuller is suspended. How is this offense going to look with those two? That's something I'm really excited to see. I don't know, but I think this is going to be a really great season for the Dolphins. And just seeing kind of little glimmers and little glimpses of what kind of New England offered as well. I should really talk about it. Mac Jones looks good, but I think what he's lacking is the weapons. He's got a couple of people, Aguilar and, of course, the 2 tight ends. But I think Tua is Mac Jones reminds me very much of Tua, and he was kind of just trying to do the simple stuff. And he did extend it every now and again, and that's what I want to see Tua doing. But I want to see Tua do it at the right time, as obviously they should want to see Mac Jones do it at the right time. We've got the weapons to go and do that. And it was very good to see how passionate they were, especially the one that we should have had the free play with. Also as well, the refereeing was shocking. The officiating was awful. That's a whole different video we could talk about. I want to see us extend plays a little bit more. And of course, when we did get the one that went against us, which should have been the free play, you can see how annoyed Tua was, because they knew that was a matchup that they can win. They knew that they got it right, and it was going to cause problems. So again, look, we've gone to New England. We've quietened down a very up for it fan base and a very tough crowd. We've done a good job, and that's the way we should look at this. It's not perfect, and we've in English football or soccer, for a lot of Americans that are watching this, we call this a shithouse win. It is, you don't necessarily deserve to win it. You don't necessarily deserve to come away with 3 points in football. Of course, a dub in American football, you don't necessarily deserve it, but it happens. We probably did deserve to win it today, not because of anything we did that was fancy and flamboyant and deserving to win the game, but because we kept ourselves in it. And that's all it is. That's all it matters. And I mean, I don't know currently what the score is with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cleveland Browns game that's going on. But again, both of those teams are keeping themselves in the conversation. So whichever one does win, it's going to go down as a massive victory. All we've done is the exact same thing. We've kept ourselves in it. We've probably exerted a hell of a lot less energy than those two have. Of course, they're going to be right up there in the latter stages. We're going to cause problems. And if we can do it without exerting that much energy and that much effort, we're going to be right in this right for the long haul, because our bye week is the late one. We normally have it quite early in the season. It's quite a late one, which I probably prefer. I want to see us really kind of get into the rhythm of it, really get into the groove and pick up multiple wins back to back to back to back to back. And that's why I think the Dolphins are going to do so well this season. That's why I think this is a very good win. That's my kind of take on it. It has been a little bit of a longer review. I have kind of felt a bit more passionately about this one. It is early doors, and it is something that is going to, again, it's going to continue to evolve and it's going to continue to grow. Anyone that has seen my channel before will know that this is not my normal background. It is a little bit of a temporary thing at the moment, and there is a lot more to come from this channel in terms of NFL stuff. I am going to both NFL games in London, so there'll be 2 vlogs for that, including, of course, a Dolphins vlog. Hopefully, going to try and go to a couple of the training sessions as well. So there will be a lot to come from me. But either way, thank you for watching. If you're new around here, make sure you do subscribe. Subscribe to Craigo28 Sport and Craigo28 Football, which is my main channel. But yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you later. Fins up. Come on.